What's up, traders? Welcome to today's Equity Empire Chart Analysis session. When most investors are throwing darts, we're looking for clues in the charts. My name is John McHugh. I'm a former Wall Street analyst, hedge fund manager, and independent trader for the better part of 20 years. Today, we're going to be taking a quick look at CORZ Scientific, symbol CORZ. And when we take a look at the chart, we're simply going to be looking for two things. One, what is the direction of the trend? And two, are there clues as to where the big money might be stacked up trying to buy or trying to sell? So step one, let's assess the trend. We'll do that is by simply identifying the two most recent highs and the two most recent lows. So from high to low, low to high, high to low, we'll notice that as they move from left to right, the highs are moving higher. As they move from left to right, the lows are also moving higher. And that's the definition of an uptrend. So now that we've identified an uptrend in CORZ Scientific, we're simply going to look for support levels for either quick bounce trades or lower entry prices for longer term positions. So what I'm going to do here, since we're potentially looking for a quick bounce trade, is I'm going to change the time frame to 1 hour. Go see if we can't find a support level or two. So there is a support level right here in the 1157 to 1134 price range. There's another support level below that right here in the 1053 to 1029 price range. So two support levels to consider, once again, for either a quick bounce trade or for a lower entry price for a longer term position. Now let's go see if we can find a resistance level. And actually, if we go back to the daily time frame, we'll notice that there is some resistance right here. So there's some resistance right up here in the 1258 to 1317 price range. Okay, so we've bounced off of that level, and that's kind of a pretty strong clue that that there are some sellers waiting up there to continue selling. Okay, so the way we would construct our trade is pick one of these two levels for, like I said, either a quick bounce or for a lower entry price for a longer term position. Now, this upper level we've just about approached. So if you want to get aggressive, you could place a buy limit order in the 157 price range and protective stop just below that level. I'm going to be a little more conservative in my entry point for this particular trade and go for a lower level. Okay, so I'm going to construct a trade. It's also going to have it's going to have much greater reward to risk in it. Okay, I'm willing to not get filled, but ideally I'd like to have a lot more reward to risk in the trade. So place a buy limit order in the 1053 price range. Protective stop just below 1029. Drag the target just in front of the resistance level. And you have a trade set up right there with a 7-to-1 reward to risk ratio. So if you were a little more eager to make sure you wouldn't miss something, so you think that's got a lot of reward potential, you could potentially just raise your entry price up a little bit. So you maybe bring your entry to 1073, and that would change the reward to risk to something like this, which would be more like a 3.7-to-1 reward to risk ratio. Okay, so two different ways to consider an entry in that particular price range. And once again, if you wanted to be more aggressive, you could go for this upper level. But ideally, the way that either one of the trades would play out is if you wanted to be aggressive, you'd be looking for a bounce off of that level and retesting that level there. If you're going for the lower level, you'd want the price action to act something like this, which is work its way down to that support level, bounce off that level, and going back and retesting that resistance level. Okay, so two potential trade setups there for you to consider. Now, if price can work through that resistance level, this is great news. If we can work through that resistance level, if you can get an entry in either one of these levels and work its way through, you could either get out of your entire position there, or you might consider taking off a partial and holding on to part of your position, because if we can break through that resistance level, the next resistance level isn't until all the way up here in the 1613 to 1663 price range. Okay, so if we can break through this level here, it could work its way quickly back up to the 16 range, and then you'd be looking at a really nice reward to risk ratio on that particular trade. So let's wrap up today's session, folks. We found two support levels for potential bounce trades. We got a pretty meaningful resistance level, either for a target or, like I said, either a partial target. And then we got a big gap until the next resistance level. So let's wrap it up. Hope you enjoyed today's session. I'll be back each and every day this week for more chart analysis. In the meantime, wishing you the best of luck in your trading and investing, and we'll see you soon.